If your car is doing something weird electrically, in the next 10 minutes I'm going to show you the exact order of things to test so you can stop guessing. Electrical systems aren't black magic. You can learn this and become the electrical wizard. You're going to need your multimeter, some wiring diagrams, and if you want to make life easy on yourself, grab my electrical diagnostic checklist. There's a link in the description. And as a quick safety note, remember, we're playing with electrical stuff. Don't do dumb crap. But realistically, 12 volt DC is pretty safe. So troubleshooting these electrical systems really isn't that hard. A couple of things we need to know right off the bat. What's the battery voltage, and do we have good ground to the chassis, frame, and engine? So let's prove those first. So right off the bat, let's just go straight to the battery here. What static voltage are we looking at? 12.46 volts. Great. Then we're going to flip over to ohms. Remember that number, 12.46, because we're going to write that down on the checklist here in a minute. So in ohms, we're just going to verify that we've got good connectivity between the negative side of the battery and the grounds. There we go, right there. And then we're going to go from the battery over here to the engine. Perfect, we got good conductivity there also. All right, while you're here and you're doing all this stuff right at the battery, make sure you have a solid connection. Ooh, that's a little wiggly there. That could be part of my problem. Make sure your battery cables are tight and that they're not showing signs of excessive corrosion. Now, on GMs, you have that starter lug down there that runs way the heck down there past all the hot exhausts. The battery cable, positive side, runs straight to that and then to everything else. That nut can come loose at times and really make a mess out of any electrical diagnosis you're trying to do. So if it's weird, everything looks okay here, that lug on the starter could be problems. It sucks to get to, but it's there. The next thing, just make sure you have sound connections. If there's any signs of corrosion, any grounds that are at the battery are looking gross and crusty, that's probably a sign there's things afoot that need to be cleaned. So, all things considered, I'm going to grab a wrench, tighten this positive cable down just a hair, and we're going to get to troubleshooting the rest of it. So on my diag checklist, I made sure I've got the battery voltage written down and the battery terminal condition. It's not new, but it's perfectly acceptable. Now, that connector that was up there by the battery, that's a clue. I've got some weirdness going on with my right front headlight, specifically the low beams. So we're just going to write low beams on the circuit we're troubleshooting, so that way we stay on track. Now, the next thing to do is to check the fuse. So, checking fuses, we're in ohms for continuity, and I'm just going to hook my little alligator clips up to the fuse. We have continuity on that one. And if you have a fuse that is bad, it'll keep with that OL, meaning open loop. Power doesn't flow through an open loop. Next thing on the list, you guessed it. Let's dive under the dashboard and check the fuse on that. And I'm going to give you a hint. There's something weird that once stopped my El Camino from doing its thing on the circuit. So I'll show you that in half a second.
Okay, so the headlamps are controlled by a self-resetting circuit breaker. So I've pulled out the turn signal and backup light fuse right there for this exercise. Now, those connectors, you're going to have power come in on one side and out on the other. So you should typically take your multimeter and check for voltage on one side and the other. That way you can prove you have power coming in, and if you have power on the side that's going out, well, that's another problem. Now, the other thing you should do is you should take a look at those connectors. Those connectors have been known to corrode and fall apart and not hold the fuse. And when they do that, the circuit doesn't work. So don't be afraid to just touch one gently and wiggle it just ever so slightly with a small flat blade screwdriver or your multimeter probe just to make sure that it's in good shape. I don't mean like poke it to no end, just give it a nice little jiggle and make sure everything's happy. Then check your fuse with the multimeter and stuff the fuse back in and continue on your path, provided you have good power and things are happy here. If you don't have good power here, well, you know that the issue is between here and the battery.
In the event you do have a problem right there and that terminal has got issues, I've got a whole other video that I did featuring that car on how to fix that issue. Here's what I mean. You have the circuit breaker that goes to the headlight switch, which is the off, park, and headlamps. And then it goes yellow wire out to the dimmer switch, which is located on the steering column. And then it goes out to the individual bulbs. So if you're following along the checklist, there's a couple of things. It wants you to understand whether you have a circuit breaker, switches, or things in line. But we're going to skip ahead just a little bit because that's what most people are going to do. We're going to start checking for power right at the plug that may have the issues. Then we can determine if we've got power there, is it good power or is there other issues? So after looking at the wiring diagram, the brown is the low beam and the greens represent the high beam, and the black here is the ground. So a couple of tests I want to do right off the bat. With the power off at the headlights, I want to check to make sure that I don't have power on the brown wire, and I also want to make sure that I've got good ground on the black wire. So let's just do that real quick. That's that, and let's see here. I'm looking for ground right there. Okay, no voltage with the switch off like it's supposed to. We're going to go to ohms, and we're going to stuff the probe in there just nicely. And we're going to do this. And I'm going to wiggle things around because I can tell already there's some corrosion in there. And we do have a good ground after I wiggle the probe in the connector just a little bit. So there's a problem. All right, I flipped the headlamps on, and I've got a marker light lit up here, and I can see the other headlight is lit up on the other side. So I'm going to test for power right here, and it's kind of being funny all over the place. It's jumping around. Well, I got 11.7 volts right there. And then I'm going to ask my assistant, who just walked by, flip the high beams for me.
Hello.
Yeah, he's over there. So with the high beams, this should change, and then we should have power on the other side that is the high beams right there. Yep. So basically what I'm doing is just checking to make sure power is getting to the end component at the connector. Now, having had to wiggle the multimeter probe in there a little bit tells me that there's some corrosion and junk going on. So believe it or not, most electrical issues are actually a housekeeping issue, where if you take the time to clean up the connections, the problem nearly disappears. If you're popping fuses, that's a sign that you have excessive resistance, or it's a dead short to ground and pulling too much current. Excessive resistance could be corrosion in the line, it's drawing too much amperage, and it pops the fuse because it's too high of a load for the fuse. But I don't think that's the case here. I just think it's dirty. So how do we fix that? So this is pretty interesting. This is the backside of the headlight connector. You can see there's a couple of little grooves in those connectors. Those are detents for the wires themselves. So all you do is take a small, thin flat blade screwdriver, or they make specific tools for this, but you just push it in there to depress the pin, and a little bit of a wiggle, and it should come out if you get your stuff in there correctly. Come on. And of course, this one's going to fight me for half a second. Come on, you can do it, little guy. There it goes, right there. See, and you can see the pin right there, which I flattened a little bit much. So I'm just going to pull him back out gently because you don't want to break it. Looking at the connection, I do have some corrosion where the insulation ends and the wire begins, but I also have a fair bit of corrosion just on the spade lug itself where that contacts the other side at the headlight. So let's fix that. So I can't say I'm surprised to see a little bit of corrosion here. I mean, it is the headlight. It's up there on the front of the car where it's in the weather. But my quick fix is just use a wire wheel on my drill, and it cleans up the connector just real sweet. And the big flat part there, that's going to contact the terminal the most. So I'm just going to make sure I get that real nice. There we go. Nice clean connection now. So now that I've seen this on this side, I bet these other ones have the same issue. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those up the same way. So what do you do if you don't have power this way? Well, you just start going up the line, checking the connections as you go. The other option is you go from the fuse forward or from the component backwards. Either way, you're going to come to the same point where power is and then isn't. So it doesn't really matter which way you go, just as long as you get to the right answer. In this case, it was easier just to check power out here than it was to pull apart the dashboard and check the headlight switch. So sometimes if it requires a lot of disassembly, just jump ahead a little bit and see what's going on at the end of the circuit where the electrical part is. Low beams are on. That's a good sign. That means we're exactly where we need to be. And that right there is why I say that most electrical problems are a housekeeping issue. Clean up the connection, everything's good. But since we're here and we're looking at all the electrical stuff, there's one more test we ought to do, and that's to make sure that the battery is charging correctly. If it's not putting out enough voltage, well, it'll never keep up with the electrical system. Now, if it's putting out too much voltage, that can fry delicate electronics, like HEI ignition modules. If it's charging over 15 volts, that's a problem. Remember, the factory correct number is 14.4 volts. So, engine is running, 14.4 volts on the node. Now, things that could also cause a low charging condition is your alternator belt. If it's loose, floppy, or squealing, or just generally not moving the alternator, that can cause all sorts of charging problems. So always check your belt before you just go changing the alternator. So once you understand how to troubleshoot these, it becomes very easy to troubleshoot any electrical gremlin that pops up, especially on the classics. It's all methodical approach, one step at a time. Power is or power isn't. Figure out what's going on. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you want to know more about adding circuits or correcting wiring problems, check this video out over here.